Hey everybody, it's AJ from Disney Food Blog, and there are a few things I think you need to know about at Disney World that maybe you haven't noticed. And I love doing videos like this. You know, we've got a couple of other ones, but I keep finding more cool things, more cool Imagineering, more cool details that is really fun to hear about, know about, and to really look at when you're in the park. So there's a few more things I wanted to tell you about. These are really fun things that you maybe never noticed while you were in Walt Disney World. First up, I love this one. The citizens of Main Street, if you haven't met them, they are Streetmosphere characters that wander around and walk around. There's a voice teacher, the mayor, and a few other folks wander around. There's the fire chief as well. Well, if you are walking down Main Street, USA, and you pop around the first corner, so this is right before the Crystal Arts store, there's a little inlet. And over in Disneyland, this is actually an extra little street because there's like an inlet on the other side too. But in Disney World, there's just one little inlet as you're walking toward the castle. It's to your right. And if you walk in there, there's a few little tables set up. There's not usually a lot of people back there, not too much going on. So that's why it's nice and quiet in there. And you can actually hear the citizens of Main Street saying things coming out of their respective windows. So sometimes you will hear the voice teacher teaching scales. So you'll hear her students singing scales up and down. You will listen to people dancing at the School of Dance. You'll hear tap dancing and an instructor and a couple of other fun little things in there. If you just kind of sit, take a load off after a long day at Magic Kingdom, you'll be treated to a little extra magic when you're back in that little area. Next up is, of course, the engagement ring at the Haunted Mansion. This is a long time rumor / truism about the Haunted Mansion. You know, one of the stories of the Haunted Mansion is that the Haunted Mansion bride throws her ring out the window of the mansion, and there's sort of a ring embedded into the pavement. There's lots of different theories on this, and you can look them all up online. There's lots of different stories about the ring. But if you want to see it for yourself, you can head over to the Magic Kingdom queue line, and you'll find you have to go through the actual line, not the Fast Pass line. As you're just about to join with the Fast Pass line, you'll see this on the ground. I think it's near a trash can, actually. Also in Magic Kingdom is a hidden Steamboat Willie, and this is, as far as I know, one of the only hidden Steamboat Willies around. And this is a version of a hidden Mickey, of course. If you are exiting the Ariel Little Mermaid attraction over there in New Fantasyland, look to your right, and if you line the rocks up, those big boulders, if you line those rocks up just right, you will actually see an intentional hidden Steamboat Willie right there. It's one of a lot of Disney cast members' favorite hidden Mickeys anywhere in the park. Next thing you may not have noticed, did you know that there are Snapchat filters, geo filters all over Disney World? These come and go, but I just tested mine out yesterday and they were there. If you are over in Magic Kingdom, you will find Mickey and Minnie filters and maybe a couple of other filters for your Snapchat selfies and your Snapchat photos around Magic Kingdom. Something else you may not have noticed in Walt Disney World is that there are transportation trading cards, and these usually they're given to the kids, but if you ask for one, you can get one too. They have trading cards for the monorails, for the minivans, and potentially, I think also for buses and boats. We'll have to ask about those, but I know they have them for the monorail and the minivan, so ask cast members in your minivan or on the monorail for trading cards, and you can collect them. There's several of them. Like for the minivans, you can get a minivan or one of their big, giant, multi-person vans. There's just a bunch of different ones to collect, so it's super fun. They're totally free. You can collect them, and your kids will really like to collect them too. Something else you may not have noticed in Walt Disney World is Trader Sam's Grotto. This is one of those things that is very easy to walk right by. So I bet you a lot of people, even people staying at the Polynesian Village Resort, which is where it's located, just walk right by this little unassuming door. It says Trader Sam's on it, but nobody would really know what that was. There's no big, huge entranceway. It's clearly sort of a speakeasy kind of thing, even on the outside. So they're not really advertising it on the outside. So it's pretty easy to just walk right by. But once you go inside, you'll find a lot of fun. There's Trader Sam's, one of my favorite places to spend an evening. There's so much fun stuff going on. And something else you may not realize is that when you order certain drinks, different things happen in the actual bar. So different things happen with the props around the bar. The servers will say and do different things. There's sound effects. Lots of cool stuff happens over in Trader Trader Sam's, but don't miss it. Don't walk right by that door. Make sure you head inside. Another drinking location you may not notice is the sake bar inside Mitsukoshi in the Epcot Japan Pavilion. There is a sake bar way in the back of the Mitsukoshi department store, and you're never going to see it unless you go all the way over there. It's right next to the very farthest back places where you can pay for your items. It's been there for a long, long time, but I think a lot of people probably don't even realize it's there. Something else in the Japan connection you may not notice, there's several places around Disney World where you can pull a pearl out of an oyster. So you can choose your own oyster, and inside is a random pearl. You never know what you're going to get. And then you can have that pearl set into jewelry. Now, of course, that's a paid thing. You have to pay extra for that, but it's a really unique and memorable souvenir, I think, for people visiting Walt Disney World. And if you head over to the Germany pavilion there in Epcot, did you know you can buy a tiara? A lot of people think, that there are very specific types of things you can buy in a theme park, and they'd never guessed you can actually buy a crystal tiara. But yes, you can. So if you are a Disney princess and it's your birthday, maybe it's time to head over to the Germany pavilion and grab yourself a tiara, right? Okay, for the rest of this list, we'll head on back to Magic Kingdom. This is something that a lot of you experts know, but some folks who haven't been to Disney World or who are new to Disney World might not realize. If you're walking down Main Street, there are names on the windows up on the second floor of the buildings on Main Street. All of these names are actual people who are referencing actual people. These are people that were involved with the building of Disneyland and Disney World. They're Imagineers, they are Disney employees, and they're basically getting recognized on these windows. So if you have a window on Main Street, you are an important person in the history of Walt Disney World or Disneyland. So you can look at these windows, you can find Walt, you can find his brother Roy Disney, you can find Elias Disney, and even above the Crystal Arts building, you can find a window that lists all of the fake corporation names that Walt Disney created to purchase the land in Orlando to create Walt Disney World. And that's the truth. He created fake corporations to buy up the land because he knew if someone with the name of Disney were buying that land, that the price would be much, much higher than it actually was. People knew Disney was buying the land, they would make the price higher. So he created all these fake corporations like Reedy Creek Ranch Lands, I-4 Corporation, etc. to purchase that land. Now, another thing you may not have noticed over there in Magic Kingdom is the Harmony Barbershop, and we've talked about it on the channel before. This is really fun where you can actually go get your own haircut, you can get your kid's haircut, or you can get your baby's first haircut, which is so adorable. And they have this whole thing with a certificate, and they get a little ear hat embroidered with their first haircut, and it's $25 for the baby's first haircut. Your child's haircut can be $18, and your haircut is $19. You can also get a bang trim and a beard trim here. The next thing I want to tell you about is over in Animal Kingdom. This is in the dinosaur attraction. And did you know, a lot of people don't realize, Disney used to have a very, very close relationship with McDonald's. And McDonald's items were sold in all of the parks. This was not too long ago. This was just a few years ago. But Dinosaur was actually sponsored by McDonald's when it was first started. Restaurantosaurus was a McDonald's. That's what they served, was McDonald's food. So over in Dinosaur, even though most of the McDonald's mentions have been removed, there's one that hasn't. If you get to the loading area, you may look up and see 3 pipes. These are just your typical construction pipes, but these ones are a little bit different. They are red, yellow, and white, and they have a chemical makeup written on them. And believe it or not, these are the chemical makeups for ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard. So that's a little McDonald's reference that's still there in the dinosaur attraction that a lot of people don't notice, and even if they did notice it, they wouldn't know what it meant or what it stood for. And finally, here's one that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So take this one generally. If you go over to Le Chapeau in the Magic Kingdom between Tony's Town Square and the confectionery, it's the hat shop there, you will find an old-timey telephone. And if you pick up the phone, every once in a while you will hear a party line. You'll hear folks talking on it and over it. And it's a really fun little thing to surprise your friends with. Maybe they didn't realize that was there. So that's a really cool thing to share with your family or your kids. And again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When I was there a couple weeks ago, it was working just fine, so hopefully they'll keep it working. So there are a few fun things you may not have noticed in Walt Disney World. We're always looking for these Imagineering details, these special magical extras that will make your trip more memorable, will give you some fun things to show to your family, might make you realize just a little bit more how much design and how much ingenuity goes into building these parks. There are so many more fun things to see in and around Walt Disney World, so we'll keep an eye out for you. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.